Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new ESO Guides video. With me, Sherman, we're going to be talking about how to farm gear and the best ways that you can farm gear sets in the open world, dungeons, and in trials to get the gear the easiest way and to get it a more efficient way, if you will. And this is just in my opinion, just letting everyone know this is how I do it. If you have a different way of doing it, that's cool, I get it. But if you're looking for like overland sets, which is any of the sets that drop in open world, delves, or public dungeons, I usually start myself by farming dolmens. Now, a dolmen, there's usually 3 dolmens per map in the classic maps. Now, when it comes to like Orsinium, Thieves Guild, the Dark Brotherhood stuff, and even in some areas of Cyrodiil, I won't always farm dolmens because they don't have them there, except for in Cyrodiil there is dolmens. But I don't like doing dolmens too much in Cyrodiil because it can be a complicated thing, especially with the fact that there's a lot of players around. So a lot of the Cyrodiil sets I'll buy, but that's just me. So the dolmens look like this on the map. There's the Giants Run dolmen here, and I'm in East March. There's the Frostwater dolmen, and then of course over here there is the Icewind Peaks dolmen. And each of these dolmens have a chance of dropping a jewelry set based on the map location. Now, sets are something that you use to basically enhance your character's attributes. They have passive abilities in them, and then they have active abilities as well, based on damage you do or damage you take, and other things like that. I'll just show you guys my set that I'm running, because I know everybody loves to see the GPS tank, you know. I like it when people get angry with me about it. So here is the Gladiator's Curse that I wear. As you can see, it is a 5-piece set. This is a crafted set. Now, I'll get into crafted sets too. And so the 2-piece gives you weapon critical, the 3-piece gives you weapon critical, the 4-piece gives you weapon damage, and then of course the 5-piece when your target is below 25% health and add 1,722 weapon damage to your light and heavy attacks. So this is one of the sets I wear. The other set I wear is Plague Doctors, which as you can see is another set. Then of course I carry an endurance set, I carry an agility and stuff. There's 3-piece sets and there's 5-piece sets. When it comes to open world sets, starting with the jewelry is the easiest thing to get. It's really fast, it doesn't take a lot of time. And if you can get a couple friends together to run with you through the dolmens, it'll go by even faster, because they can help you get the sets that you're looking for a little bit easier, and it just works out better that way. Usually when I farm a set, I'll farm it by myself until I have friends get on, and if they ask me what I'm doing and they say, oh, you want a hand or something, I usually accept it because it just makes things go by quicker. Next up is when it comes to weapons and shields and, you know, like those kind of things, I'll usually farm world bosses for those because they have a higher tendency to drop those things than they do in a public dungeon. So I'll usually farm the world bosses. As you can see, I've got all the world bosses finished here, and that's because I've soloed most of these. And I do solo them on a regular basis because right now I am farming the Akavari Dragon Guard set in East March, so I've been spending a lot of time here. Trying to farm out that set. Recently, in fact, I got the restoration staff I was looking for. In fact, in the setting in the set I wanted, but unfortunately, I do have to get the defending version for the build that I'm working on to work. It's a heal tank kind of build. It's just a really defensive healer that I'm working on, and I'm probably going to stick with the decisive staff because I'm not going to be on that bar too much except for healing. And when I'm healing, I'll be standing back anyways. I won't be tanking. The tanking part of the build is to basically off-tank mobs, trash and stuff, and keep them off of the, you know, away from the group. And I'll have the capabilities of doing enough damage as well to do that. And then the healing, of course, the ultimate generation from it, the decisive thing, is what I was really looking for. So, like I said, when it comes to open world, overland sets, public dungeons, delves, things like that, delves will always drop boots and belts, and you do have a chance of getting other set items in the map that you're in from just regular mobs and things like that, but it's a little bit harder. It's a lot easier to farm like the public dungeons, the world bosses, and the delves, and the dolmens to get the full thing. So dolmens will drop all jewelry for the sets of that zone. World bosses will drop weapons, everything but boots and belts normally, and then of course public dungeons drop everything but boots and belts as well. But it's farming those things that makes it very time consuming. Now you can go to guild traders and buy these things, but right now with the way the economy has been based on the meta, a lot of sets are very expensive and are climbing on a regular basis. So it's better to try and get it yourself first than it is to go buy it. I'll just say that, unless you have a lot of gold. But if you're farming sets, this is the easiest way for me to do it. I usually start with the jewelry, like I said. Then I move to the world bosses to get the weapons, if I need any weapons from the set. And then I'll move to the public dungeon to get the rest of the gear, because it's just easier. If I need the boots and belts from a set, I'll just farm the Dolmens. Or the Delves, and get them real quick. And it usually doesn't take me long to get a full set of what I'm looking for. Maybe an hour and a half, max, if I have a group. If I don't have a group, it can take me a day. So, and that's just for overland. Now, when it comes to dungeon sets, I should have just stayed in the map I was in. Wow. Each dungeon has its own set of gear, too. Has its own sets of gear, I should say. And usually there's 3 sets per dungeon. There's a light, a medium, and a heavy. Or, in this case, a magicka set, a stamina set, and then a tanky set. So you have those options in there to go after that. And if you're going for a magicka DPS set or even a magicka set, they come in a lot of varieties, and dungeons have some of the better sets that you can get in the game besides trials. Now, trials do offer a lot of good sets, and there is a couple trials in the game. Most of them are in Craglorn. There is the Septim Ophidium, there is the Hallra Citadel, and then of course the Ethereum Archive. And all 3 of those are very difficult to do because it takes 12 people. But if you can get a good group of players that are willing to work with you, and you run it on normal, you can get a base set really quick, and then you can always run it again to get the rest of the remaining pieces that you need and stuff like that. But when like dungeons and trials are very similar, I usually run the dungeons on normal to get like any armor set that I'm looking for, in like gloves, the boots, any of the things besides jewelry. I run on normal to get, and then if I need jewelry, I run it on vet mode. And then if I need monster sets, I run the stuff on hard mode to get extra keys. And that's only if it's up for the Daily Undaunted. If it's not up for Daily Undaunted, I just get the keys and call it good. But monster sets are a little bit more difficult to get because you do need keys, and you have to play it on vet mode in order to get the monster set to drop on the last boss. Dungeons, though, when it comes to drops, all your jewelry usually drops on the last boss. There's a couple named pieces that might drop off of other bosses, and then of course when it comes to weapons and shields, it's always the last boss as well. The rest of the bosses have a tendency to drop the other gear sets, which makes it easier to get them. It's just getting them in the right traits that you want that can be a problem. And it usually takes several runs. This is why I always say run with an organized group when you're looking for sets. Run with a group of friends, run with your guildmates, run with people who are willing to work with you to get your set. And are willing to give you any of the pieces they find along the way. You can do this in a lot of pug groups and stuff like that, but it's usually a lot easier to do it with a group of friends, or a group that you play with on a regular basis, because you can just ask them, hey, can I have, if you guys come across any of the set, can you give it to me? Would you mind giving it to me, kind of thing. A lot of the times what we do in my group is, the groups I play with, is we will give whoever needs what, and then trade too, trade sets and things like that, because it's just easier. And a lot of times we try to do dungeons where we need multiple stuff from, because it just makes it quicker. Because if everyone gets what they need, we don't have to run it as much to get the full set for the person. Here recently we got Combat Physician for one of our healers that we run with. And he still needs a few pieces, so we're going to have to go back and run Wayrest a few more times. But it's one of those things, working in a group, in an organized group through dungeons, makes things just so much easier to get. Now when it comes to trials, running it on normal and getting a full set, even jewelry, isn't a bad idea, but because it's going to be blue quality jewelry, and it's going to be blue quality gear, hopefully, that you're getting, And then when you need to go through on a harder mode, you already have the set prepared, so you do get those benefits from that set. It's not as quite as good as getting it in purple, but it's still pretty good, and you can run on through with the sets and things like that. So just remember that. Now, crafted sets are another thing. A lot of people don't talk a lot about crafted sets because they, crafted sets, there's only like a limited amount that a lot of people like to use. I like to use any crafted set in the game. If I can make it work with a build, I will make it work with a build. And even if it's just temporary until I can find get a better crafted set, or I can get something else, I will craft a set, wear a crafted set, and then wear a non-crafted set. Because I like to have my own appearance to my characters. I don't like having the appearance of whatever the game chooses for me based on the armors that drop. Now, that's the difference between sets and crafted sets. Crafted sets, you can choose your appearance. Non-crafted sets, you have to go with what they give you. And sometimes it doesn't look that great, as you guys can see here. This is my crafted set. I'm wearing the Assassin's armor, heavy armor. And then I'm wearing the Assassin's medium gauntlets with a light belt. And then I'm wearing the Plague Doctor's shoulders to be visible. And you can see it kind of fits with the look, but it's not really the kind of appearance I normally want to go with this character. I actually usually run with the cosmetic stuff, one of the costumes here, and that is the Shrouded Assassin. Because I like the look of it. I think, with the way my character is already, she's already wearing Assassin's gear, and I've been doing a lot of Assassin's, the Assassin's storyline, so I do wear that, or I wear the Golden Saint. It's a kind of a cool looking one, especially with my character and the fact that it's kind of hard to tell, but she does have tattoos under her armor, so they kind of fit in with the armor itself. So I do like that. And then of course, there's the Imperial Chancellor set that a lot of people don't really wear a lot. I like the look of it. I think it looks really good on this character, especially for the way she looks. And then there's the regular, the Orc King. I do like this one too. Costumes are another great way to hide what your appearance is, and how your character looks and everything like that. And you can get costumes from the Crown store or from Crown crates, but like I said, I prefer to just usually keep my look to something that I like. And I do like the way this looks. I think it looks really cool. It kind of makes her look like she's, battle-ridden and been out adventuring a lot and everything like that. So now, like I said, there's other sets, like the jewelry sets, the 3-piece jewelry sets that you can get from running what's called the public the dungeon dailies. And if you get a group of friends running those, you can get a 3-piece jewelry set pretty quick from that. You just have to run those dungeon dailies every day. And if you're running, like I said, with 4 friends, you have a greater chance of getting a full set quicker. And that's basically what you want to do. You want to be able to get your set as quick as you can. So running Dolmens, running world bosses, running the public dungeon even. When you run a public dungeon, here's some advice: run with 2 people. Don't run with 4. Run with 2, because then you have a greater chance of getting the bosses to spawn, and you're not killing them too fast to where you can't get them to respawn. Otherwise, you got to stand around for 15 minutes waiting for them to allocate the loot for them. So it usually takes about 10 minutes for the bosses to spawn in most dungeons. Public dungeons respawn. In delves, it's 10 minutes as well. But if you kill them too quick, you won't get the drop. You won't get the gear that you're looking for. You'll have to re-kill them and kill them and kill them and kill them and kill them to get the sets and stuff. So try to keep the kills down to about a 15-minute spread in a public dungeon to get the gear you want. When it comes to normal dungeons, just clear it, restart it, leave, reopen it, go back through it, and just keep doing that. If you keep doing that in a normal dungeon, you can get your sets pretty quick. And like I said, most normal dungeons, if you're geared out already, can take anywhere between like 10 to 25 minutes if you can clear it fast enough. And then if you're running it on vet mode, it's going to take you about 15 to 20 minutes because of the amount of health that bosses have. And if your group is still pushing good DPS and everything, you can clear it even faster. I've ran vet dungeons in 15-20 minutes on some of them. So, but when it comes to, like I said, farming sets, you want to make sure that you get your set as efficient as possible. because the more time consuming it is, the longer it takes to get into doing the things that you really want to do. Maybe if you want to be an in-game player and do like what people consider in-game, which is dungeons and trials, you want to be able to get your sets efficiently and fast. And that's all this is. Jewelry first, get it in purple in the world, on overland sets, get the jewelry in purple by running Dolmens. And usually, like I said, with 4 people, you can get it a full set in under an hour, normally. Then the last 2 pieces that you need for your set, I usually go for the boots and belts, because I like to craft my sword and shield, or I like to craft my dual wield, or I like to craft the rest of my set. And if I'm using 2 5-piece sets, I like to craft my 5-piece set a certain way. Usually I like to craft the belt in light and the gauntlets in medium. So I'll go get the boots from the delve, and then I'll go get the rest of the stuff, another piece from like the world bosses or from the public dungeons or something. Usually doesn't take me that long because it's pretty easy to farm sets sometimes. It just depends on how packed the public dungeon is with players. If it's too packed, I go farm world bosses because it's just easier. Not a lot of people farm world bosses for drops. Unless you're talking Spriggans or Spinners or one of them, then they're usually pretty loaded. Certain gear sets are harder to get when it comes to farming because of that, the amount of people doing it. So try to try to find a good world boss where people aren't farming it a lot. When it comes to the bigger sets, like I said, like Spriggans. Myself, when I go farm Spriggans and Vankori, I actually go after this one world boss that nobody really messes with, and it's because it's out in the boonies. And that's this one right here. I like to go this one, the Telesabu, whatever, Ruins. This is an easy boss encounter. Usually, if you have like 4 people, you can just camp this, farm it, clear it, get the drops from it pretty quick. A lot of people like to do this Dolmen and this world boss because they're side by side, and it makes it easier to bounce between the 2 farming. I also personally like to farm this world boss because it's also near the Blackheart dungeon, but it's also near this delve. So I can go do this delve real quick, come back, fight the boss, go do the delve, come back, fight the boss, and it makes farming Spriggans pretty quick and easy. If you're looking to farm Spinners, which I believe is in Malabal Tor, a good way to farm Spinners is actually this boss, the Bone Snapper, or Bone Grappler. A lot of people don't go after this boss, and they don't go after this boss either. And now you're going to see I don't have this boss cleared yet because a lot of people don't like to farm it. This is another boss a lot of people don't farm a whole lot, and this one over here, a lot of people don't farm a lot. This is one they like to farm because it's right here near a Dolmen. So they can farm the Dolmen, they can run over here, kill the boss, run back to the Dolmen. A lot of people like to do that in the game. And then this one here, between this Dolmen and this here. This public dungeon is farmed like crazy. So trying to get in here and farm it can be kind of a pain unless you're doing it early morning or really, really late at night. If you're looking for Spinners. And now Thunderbug also drops here. And Thunderbug's a really good tank set if you haven't tried using it. It can be a really good tank set. So it's understanding also where boss drops are, or where set drops are, and learning those set drops. I personally prefer using the wiki. It makes it the easiest way to find where set locations or sets are. You can go and farm it. You can get it pretty quick, and it makes it really simple. When it comes to trial stuff, running trials, like I said, it's getting a 12-man group together that makes it hard. Other than that, if you're in a good guild that has a lot of people, active people playing all the time, you can usually get delves or the public dungeons ran, or the trials ran pretty quick. And there is a trial here called Maelstrom Arena, and then there is another one here that a lot of people don't know is a trial, but it's called the Dragon Star Arena, and it's a 4-man trial, basically. And at the end, you have a chance of getting a named, or a Dragon Star Arena weapon. I think they're called Master Weapons. And then out of the Maelstrom Arena, you can get the Maelstrom Weapons. And these are like single weapon sets. So you can get a 1-weapon set. And they're really good, they're really powerful, but at the same time, if you don't have the build for them, it can be a little complicated to get. And changing your build to fit the build that you need for one of these can also be a lot of problems for a lot of people because they like their characters the way they are, and they don't like to go and change them and do all that kind of stuff. But that's, hey, that's up to you to decide. As you can see, I farm these quite often. The public dungeons here, there's 2 of them. Really good farming places here in Orsinium. If you're looking for sets, especially the Orsinium sets like pariahs. I've seen a lot of tanks using that lately for a basic starter set. And yeah, that's the other thing. Understand what the set does for you and make it work for you. That's another thing. So. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope that I gave you the information you needed, and I hope that it helps you guys out and it teaches you guys how to, you know, like maybe gives you guys a better way of doing it on your own. Like I said, I don't tell people how to play. I just show you how I do things and let you guys decide from there what you want to do. But that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. If you want to see more videos by me, you can hit the subscribe button. I try to post videos on a daily basis, but of course, I can't always pull off a miracle. I try to do my best, and this week's been really hectic for me. I had a lot of stuff going on, and so this is kind of a late video, and I've been wanting to do this video for a while now. So, but that's it for now. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and I will see you all later. Bye.